Hello guys and welcome. In today's video we will talk about one very common question we receive from you, and that is, can you actually train your cat? Of course we will talk in this case about Bengal cats because they're a little bit more intelligent than other breeds and easier to train, but actually you can try this with any kind of cat breed, and of course you can do it, you can train your cat, and we will try to help you with small little tricks to achieve that goal, that you train your cat to do some small and funny stuff. Approach how you're going to train your cat to make some small commands or make some little tricks. It's the most important part in this process, because you need to understand many people use many different techniques. For example, you probably see people use that clicker making some sound when cat in that moment do some command. This is not the way what we used to practice in our life, and it's very simple and easy to understand why. We try to build personal relation with cat. That cat react on my sound, on me, and understand that I talk to cat, not some sound, me. My voice talk to cat, and cat understand what I'm trying to say, and cat understand first of all when I'm calling her. When you build that relation, everything else after that will be much more easier. I'm not saying that that way is wrong. I'm just trying to explain the way how we do it and why we do it. So it's up to you which tactic and which method you're going to practice to train your cat. And we will start to talk now about the proven way how for sure you can make some interaction between you and your cat. First step, and the easiest one, is to use food. When you award your cat for some command you give to her, and you teach her to understand that she gets some reward because she did something, that's first step. I know it sounds easy, but it's a process which will take a lot of time, and you need to commit to do that constantly and go to be consistent in this process until you finally achieve your goal, that cat listen what you say, do exactly what you ask her, and then receive a reward for that. It will take for some cats short period, but for some cats probably longer period, that you build this process to work exactly how I just explained. Just don't give up if that's your final goal. So when we talk about food, you can use some food in the bag, small bag, and first step what you're going to take is you make some sound to get some attention from your cat. That means you want cat to react on sound of this, knowing that inside is food. Like you see, they are crazy and they will start to jump because they know what's inside. But when you train your cat, you won't give it just because they ask, you will give it after they do something what you tell them. When we speak about cat action on some command, in this case we talk about cat where we want that cat jump on our shoulder because that's something what we tell her. So process in our case, it's always that we attract cat with sound, and cat will come because she expects some food. It will take some time, but they always come. So like you see. And second thing what we ask him to come and jump on us. And this is replacement for clicker, human gesture. And after that he can receive a word knowing that he fulfilled our request. And that's some process which in our case take several weeks, that he understand that he jump only when we ask him, not because he saw us and attack us actually. As I already said in the beginning of this video, Bengal cats are extremely intelligent, and that means they are much more easier to train. And as we saw already how we use food to make her attracted to something, you can also use some simple toys like this, where that instinct what they have inside their personality will force them to chase this as it's some kind of bird, because it's simply written in their code and they understand this like something what's flying around, and they will have some reaction. This is perfect way to get their attention if you want them to do something. And this simple toy is extremely cheap and it's extremely affordable to have, to build some personal relation between you and your cat. because, as I already said, Bengal cats like to chase, and this is some replacement for flying bird or something like that. And they simply go crazy when you play with this around them, and they will do everything to have that opportunity to play with this toy. So food is first step, some toy is another step in this process to train them to do something. But if you have some other breed of cat, don't give up. You should experiment on what they react, what they need to do, what you need to do to get their attention, and how you can actually move them to follow some command you're trying to give them. With Bengals, it's actually very easy, because that bond what you build with them, it's very short process where your cat will start to understand what you want, what you're speaking to them, and what you're trying to explain them to do. I'm pretty sure many people wonder, is there any reason why you should train your cat? And the answer is actually very simple. Bengals are cats full of power, so they need some attention during the day, and what's the better way than some creative relation between you and your cat to try to teach them some behavior, to do some commands, and actually to build personal relation with them. And good thing about training your cat is that they will understand what's good and what's bad. If you have cat with some bad behavior, avoid litter box or doing some bad things, many owners make many terrible mistakes punishing cats, and that's something what will cause even worse reaction. So there are some steps how and what you should do if your cat misbehave or do some things, some unwanted things in this process to teach them to do something good. So if you have cat which misbehave, what you have to do? First of all, no physical punishment, no yelling, no loud voice. You need to move cat to some closed room or some closed space that she understands, because what she did, you remove her from some comfort zone. And repeating this process several times will move some informations in cat head that they understand, after I did something, I end up here. So if I don't do this, I won't be there. And this is logic what you need to follow if you want to train cat something if you want to train cat to change something in their behavior. And trust me, after a while, if you succeed and be consistent in this process, you must see result for sure. Very common question is, what's the best time and what's the best age of your cat to start training? Actually, there is no such a rule. You need to understand behavior of your cat, and you also need to understand that there are small kittens and they are crazy and jump around reacting on whatever they see. It's not pretty good time to start with it. But when you see them to be a little bit more serious and start to explore things around them and start to be much more, let's say, not so free and precaution about some things, then it's good time that you start to build that first step relation. But also you need to understand there are some cats with personality which is simply not possible to train. They are born like that, they have some deformation in behavior, and no matter how people try hard, it's simply not possible to change their behavior. You can invest a lot of time, but if you don't see some progress after a while, after a few months, you should simply give up, because seriously, some cats and their behavior are unfixable, and that's called fact. And now the answer of the most frequent question I receive all the time. Can you walk with your cat on the leash on the street? Yes, you can. But this is maybe the hardest process for some cats to teach them to accept to be in chain. Because, you know, when cat is free inside the house and she run around and suddenly you put some belt around her and put her on the leash, she will feel like, I just lost my freedom. And this is process what you need to allow to pass in sometimes several months. So first step what you need to do, you need to introduce that equipment to your cat. Let it somewhere on the floor in the house, let cat smell it, let's start to be familiar with it, and then slowly start to put belt around her body that she start to get used to it. When you pass this first step, and this is probably the hardest step, then you can start indoor with your leash to walk slowly step by step with your cat. And of course, There is no any restriction that you use food like a word. Like you put her on the leash, call her and give her some food. Or use food to be a reason for her to walk. One way or another, that process that your cat start to walk having a leash on it, it's something what you will need to solve on one way or another. But once when you teach your cat to follow you outside on the leash, yes, I know how it sounds weird, but trust me, the feeling is fantastic and you will be so proud on yourself after a while when you succeed in this process and be free to walk outside with your cat. And your cat will be very thankful for this because she will enjoy the same as you will. So guys, I hope you find this info interesting and useful for you and your cats. Thank you for watching this video and see you soon in next video.